We, of course, are with you, and Channel 39 originating Lehigh University Wrestling now for 18 consecutive seasons. And it's our pleasure to once again bring in the voice of Lehigh Wrestling, Larry Sheridan, as we prepare to go at 167, Tony Hanson, sophomore from Waterloo, Iowa, and Derek Brophy, a freshman from Comac, New York, on the mat for Lehigh.
Lehigh narrowed the gap. 12-2 now. You and I leading. We're at the 167-pound weight class. Got two outstanding assistants seated to my left. We're going to get some help. We'll use them as runners.
I knew there was some good looks in your family that got lost somewhere, Larry.
Thank you.
2:21 to go in the period here at 167. Lehigh trailing Northern Iowa by a score of 12-10. The Engineers, as we mentioned, looking a lot better than they looked against the University of Pittsburgh.
Hanson in around the back. No takedown yet. And now gets the deuce. He's a sophomore out of Waterloo, majoring in industrial technology. Brophy, a freshman from Comac, New York, is in the business and economics major.
Okay.
The official on the mat, Dr. John Hosage, who has associated himself and officiated many matches here on the Lehigh campus. The other Buddha-like figure across the mat that you may see from time to time, maybe we can get a shot of him, is Mr. Ryan. There you see him in the background, ever-present photographer who takes shots. You can see him in the left corner of your picture, barely moves except to grab his camera.
And run. There's
he really Hanson. Does look like a Buddha. I mean,
Hanson working to tie up that arm. Watch this combination now. He's up underneath and he's tying his left arm, his left hand, and trying to get a hold of Brophy's in a hammerlock combination.
You're coming up with it. You can't come up.
Best way to get away from a hammerlock is keep your elbows tight. There's.
You can't quite get the from a shot like that. You really kind of have to be head on at Mr. Ryan to capture the full flavor of that.
Joe right now is contemplating. He's a great sailor. He's got a boat down in Annapolis, nice sloop as I call it. But this weather, not exactly conducive to sailing, so he's got to spend the winter taking photographs. Score 2-1. Tony Hanson, sophomore from UNI, leading over Lehigh's Derek Brophy. Brophy 7-11.
I just got a spray in my headset. Did somebody sneeze somewhere?
Brophy in, lifting that leg and dropping him to the mat with 30 seconds
left. Nice takedown by Brophy.
Maintains control. Lift.
Time running down in the period.
And an escape. Ties it up at 3-all. You see the time on the clock remaining in the first period.
Brophy has done some excellent wrestling for Lehigh this season, even though he's a freshman. Let's take a look at that takedown, Larry.
Pushed through, followed up. Now he has the single. Goes behind, lifts high, trips behind. Nope, so far, trips again, pursues the takedown, and you bring your wrestler to the mat, and then you gain control. Those are the two functions necessary to get 2 points. A lot of times you get behind them, but you don't gain control. You got to bring them to the mat.
I guess, Larry, if you have to look at the outstanding performance of the season, as I recall, I think you have to consider Brophy's match against Wilkes when he had that remarkable effort, I believe, when he went up a weight at up to 190, I believe he wrestled there and managed to win that, and that was very pivotal in Lehigh's winning against Wilkes.
Lehigh's early on, Lehigh's big weakness was the fact that they didn't have a 190-pounder. Literally didn't have anybody that weighed 190. They were counting on one wrestler, Scott Hamilton, but unfortunately he had a non-wrestling injury, and he's out for the season due to surgery. And then they started putting various other grapplers up to 190, trying to get the balance. and even taken Brophy up to 190. And you see him here at 67, and he looks as a light 67. But Ross, who wrestled 67 in high school, has been playing football, so he's out for wrestling now at this time.
And he does not look like a 190, as you will see when he comes up to wrestle Jeff Weatherman.
Lehigh just doesn't really have a 90-pounder, and then in other weight classes they don't have the depth, and so injuries do hurt. There's nobody there to back you up, and then when you make a road trip, there's nobody to substitute for you. .35 seconds left, first period. 4-3 the score. The lead to Tony Hanson of UNI. Their team's leading also, his team's leading also 12-10. Warning against UNI.
24 seconds to go in the period. It's a 4-3 lead.
In 14 days, Shell, Lehigh University wrestled Wisconsin, Michigan, Cleveland State, Pittsburgh, Northern Iowa, and Penn State. That's a lot of wrestling. 4 of those teams in the top 10. And so when you wrestle 6 times in 14 days, you can wear you. That could be wearing, to say the least.
Of course, as we mentioned in the pit match, Larry, it doesn't hurt quite as much when you win. Competition, of course, very tough, and Lehigh, as we mentioned, on top of the thinness problem, having their #1 wrestler in the country at 142, Peter Yazzo, out for a good part of the season after an injury suffered earlier. And on top of that, Joe Herman, ineligible to wrestle. He was a highly regarded freshman wrestler the second semester.
Somersault. No control still there because of the whizzer, but now Brophy breaks it, and we have it all tied up, but 1 minute and 7 seconds time advantage.
So
goes with
he will need a takedown
Hanson
here if he's going to wipe out the time advantage, unless they wrestle to a complete standoff here with 1.5 minutes to go near the edge of the mat.
Bring him back.
We'll look at the move for the point, Larry.
Somersault, shoulder roll, really. Now there's a whizzer put in there. Control still rests with UNI. He flips out the hip, breaks free, and now it's an escape. Working off a Russian tie. One of Mark Scherbach's favorite holds.
A minute to go now. At this particular moment, Tony Hanson can hang on and win with the riding time point, does not have to make a takedown. And Derek Brophy, however, has the job of needing the takedown in order to win. We're tied at 4, but riding time, 1 minute and 7.
Tony Hanson, of course, was a good high school football player, so you might see a leg dive coming in as the best protection. Working under the hook, trying to get a leg trip as Brophy counters.
We may have a whistle coming up here from Mr. Osage very shortly here as the wrestlers are kind of waltzing around. Finally, there's a move coming around. Does he get to or not?
Oh, he's out of bounds.
Out of bounds. We may have to look at that again, but Dr. John was pretty certain about that call. Let's look at it, and you can call it yourself. Look at it quickly.
Watch the out of bounds now. Brophy's out of bounds. So now he comes back in, but there's no control as the other wrestler goes out, and they follow. There's no control there. He's still, by the time he gets control, he's all the way behind.
It was hard to tell whether Brophy had any knees down for control or they were still swinging in the air, which would... Time running down.
There's stalling against UNI, and one
should be a point for Brophy.
So now
we've got a tie.
It'll be another draw. That would be strange. There was 2 draws in the pit meet, and we've had 2 tonight. And with 10 seconds left, 5-4 on the board, but time advantage belongs to Tony Hanson. And if nothing happens, it'll be another draw.
And so Brophy gets the draw on the second stalling call against Tony Hanson. Both teams pick up 2 points as the final score is 5-5 in the bout score. And the score now moves to 14-12 Northern Iowa. Ready to go now at 177.